Enough.
Senators, I want to get to some questions from the audience.
No.
Okay, sit
Not
down.
this audience of commie
What are you going to do, cancel the show?
I want to start by bringing in Jamil Shah, who was President Trump's guest at his speech last night. His 17-year-old son was shot and killed in 2008 by an undocumented immigrant. Jamil.
Good evening. My son was a high school football star that was murdered by an illegal alien. He had everything going for himself. He was doing good, getting recruited by Stanford, Rutgers. He is not with us today because of the sanctuary city that protected someone who doesn't deserve protection. What will you do, senators, to make sure we end sanctuary cities? For example, in LA, where I am from, they won't comply with the plans to end sanctuary cities. What will you do to make them comply? What will you do to make this the law?
Senator McCain.
Obviously, I hope you'll accept the sympathy of all Americans for the loss of your son, and I cannot imagine what it would be like as a father of sons. So please accept our deep and profound sympathy. I happen to believe it's simple, and that is that when laws are passed, federal laws that apply to the United States of America, municipalities cannot exempt themselves. If we had a system of government that we passed certain laws and towns and cities sprinkled across the country decide, well, we're not going to obey that law, then obviously that would be in a breakdown of government. And so I would say that we ought to look at ways that would help convince these cities to observe federal law. And that may mean through how we use federal funds.
Well, sanctuary cities is a symptom of a greater problem. The best thing we could do to honor your son is to fix a broken immigration system. For 10 years, along with Senator McCain, I've been trying as hard as I know how to get it fixed rather than yelling about it. In our bill that got 68 votes in the Senate that died in the House, you get increased penalties if you come back into the country once you're deported. If you're a felon, you can never come back into the country. So all of us get it. Nobody wants the bad guys. Everybody wants to make sure that our laws are respected. There's a lady holed up in her church right now with 2 kids. Do you want her deported? I don't. What I want to do is keep the people who killed your son from ever coming back to our country, identify them and kick their ass out, and give that lady a chance to stay here by learning our language, paying taxes, and getting the back of the line. That's what I'm for.
And we can we can secure our borders. We can do it through technology and drones and towers and more border patrol. So we have to have a secure border. But until we have genuine immigration reform, which means that if you go to work and you don't have verification that you're in the country legally, and that employer hires that individual, then that employer pays a huge penalty for doing so. Secure the border, and we can have. I was glad last night that the President of the United States made reference to the need for immigration reform. We're all with him.
Senator McCain, Senator Graham mentioned deportation. I want to bring in another audience member, and it comes from Angel Reyes Garcia. His mother, Guadalupe, was deported in January after 21 years in the U.S. during a routine check-in with immigration officials. She's now the center of a high-profile immigration case. In 2008, she was convicted of using a false Social Security number, but she had reported to ICE every year since. Angel and his sister, Jacqueline, attended President Trump's speech last night. They were guests of Democratic Arizona Congresswoman Ruben Gallego. Angel?
Yes. It's been 4 weeks since I watched my mother be deported, and now Trump is promising new agents to do that to other families. Do you individually and does your party support the new policies at DHS? And if not, what are you doing to help keep families from being separated?
Well, first of all, I believe that we have to understand that there's a category of people in this country who were brought to this country as children. And that was not about their doing. They were brought to this country, and I think that those young people ought to have a chance to become citizens. And I believe that we should deport anyone who's committed a serious crime in the United States. And I do believe that when someone is killed, as this individual's son was, then that's wrong. So we have to have comprehensive immigration reform, which gives people a path to citizenship, but it's a long, hard, tough path. Pay back taxes, fines, get in line behind everybody else, but have an opportunity to become citizens of this country.
Senator Graham, can I just ask you, you both now have talked about comprehensive immigration reform. The president told news anchors yesterday that he is now open to...
That's what I said.
Yeah, but not... But not path to citizenship, legal status.
Yeah,
but can I just add one thing? But I just want to add one thing, because today a White House official characterized the president's remarks as, quote, a misdirection play. There's mixed messages. What do you make of that?
Well, he's going.
Is this the first time there's been mixed messages? I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be judged by whether or not he can solve this problem. I think Donald Trump has an ability to solve the problem unlike anybody in recent times. We always pass a bill in the Senate like 68 votes. It goes to the House, my Republican colleagues in the House, it always dies. I think Trump has the ability to tell the right, you know, this is a good deal, take it. Here's what I think. Most Americans want the man who killed your son to be deported yesterday and never come back. I think most Americans want your mother not to have been deported. I can tell the difference between your mother and the person who killed his son. Don't you think most Americans can see that difference? So what Trump is doing is a good thing in terms of getting the bad hombres out. His mother is not a bad hombrette. So the bottom line here is that the Republican Party and the Democratic Party have a chance here to secure our border, control who gets a job, and tell the difference between a repeat offender, a rapist, a drug dealer, a bad hombre, and his mother. And finally, have you ever wondered why we're not being overrun by illegal Canadians? We got two borders, one with Canada, one with Mexico. I've never met an illegal Canadian. They may be out there. I'll go look for them. This is an economic issue. People come